Hi, I'm Michael Grass. I'm the executive editor of Route 50, a digital news publication from the Government Executive Media Group that covers state, county, and municipal government across the country. One of the issues that we cover also is intergovernmental relations, and that's why I'm here today in Albany, New York, with Jared Snyder, the Assistant Commissioner for Air Resources, Climate Change, and Energy with the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation. Jared, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Michael.
We're here today to talk about the Clean Power Plan and the impacts on the states. The Clean Power Plan was announced by the Obama administration back in August, and the reaction has been sort of fallen into two camps: states that have been embracing it, including New York, and states that are hesitant or are opposing it. And there is currently litigation going on, but New York is not in that camp. New York generally embraces the Clean Power Plan, and let's take a 35,000-foot view for a second.
Okay.
What's the general outlook here in Albany for when the plan was announced and where things stand now?
We've been engaged in a transition to cleaner, lower-emitting sources of energy for a long time, and so as a result, we're well positioned to meet the requirements of the Clean Power Plan. We've increased our wind energy by 36-fold since 2005. The governor's New York Sun program has made solar energy one of our most rapidly expanding sources of energy. Our reliance on coal has gone down significantly, and we're part of the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative, which is an agreement among 9 states to cap and reduce greenhouse gas emissions from the power sector. We've already reduced emissions across the region by about 45% since 2005, and we have a target of getting 50% reduction by 2020 through that program. So, as I said, we're well situated to meet the requirements of the Clean Power Plan.
Were there concerns earlier on when the plan was announced that some of the targets might have been too aggressive too soon? And where do you think things stand now in the way that New York State is looking at where this is going?
Yeah, we're pleased with the changes that EPA made in the final plan. EPA I think, did a tremendous job of reaching out to a number of stakeholders, including ourselves. Received a lot of public comment. I think it was very responsive to the public comment it received from New York and other states. And I think where it ended up with the plan, it is much more balanced than the initial targets. The targets also, I think, take more account of the progress that states have already made. Many states have already made in reducing greenhouse gas emissions. So we have a target that in New York, it's roughly 50% below 2005 levels. Compare that to the overall national target of approximately 32% below 2005 levels. It sounds like it's an aggressive target. It's really moving us in the right direction, but we're already much of the way there through the programs like the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative and the governor's other clean energy programs.
So you definitely agree that even if the Clean Power Plan wouldn't have been introduced, that New York would be already well on its way to meeting many of these goals.
Well, I think well on its way to meeting and exceeding those goals. I mean, the governor has a goal of moving to 50% renewable energy by 2030. From right now, in 2014 we produce 25% of our electricity from renewable energy. So that's doubling that to 50% by 2030. A 23% reduction in energy consumption in buildings is another one of the goals in the state energy plan, and 40% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions from 1990 levels across the whole energy system, not just the electricity sector. So these goals I think are more ambitious than the Clean Power Plan. What we're doing with these various strategies and the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative fit nicely into the Clean Power Plan. And I don't think New York is alone. There's many other states that have taken on the mantle of leadership, and what we've done in places like New York and other states has shown what's possible. And I think EPA sort of saw that in putting together the Clean Power Plan. They looked at what states have been able to achieve in determining what's the potential for emission reductions across the country.
Where we are right now with the Clean Power Plan, here in Albany, what do state officials feel like are the biggest challenges to move forward at this point in time?
We are very comfortable that we're going to be able to produce a plan that demonstrates compliance with the Clean Power Plan. That plan we anticipate will depend on or utilize the 9-state Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative. So, we don't really see a tremendous challenge at this point in time. We probably need to make some changes around the margins in RGGI, but nothing that would be extremely difficult. And given our targets, we're in a position to exceed the requirements of the Clean Power Plan as well. So,
you referenced RGGI earlier. For those who might not know, what is RGGI, and how are you working with some of the partners in that coalition?
RGGI is the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative. It's an agreement among 9 states to cap and reduce emissions from the electricity sector. And what we do is we have a limited number of allowances that the sources can buy at auctions. We auction off the allowances. They acquire enough allowances to cover their emissions for the period, and we have 3-year periods. And then we use the proceeds from those auctions to support clean energy, support energy efficiency, clean energy programs, things like that are consistent with the goals of the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative.
Okay.
Let me just add to that. And each of the states implement this through their own laws and regulations, and can make their own decisions about how to invest the allowances. So while it's a overarching program that we all join in the same goals, and the allowances are interchangeable among the states, it's not, each state maintains that ability to make its own choices as to what it's going to do with the auction proceeds.
Yeah. Obviously, each state has their own different priorities and the different circumstances that they're dealing with in terms of energy. But through a group like that, and I guess also through the Clean Power Plan, just through the natural forces of sort of comparing notes and sort of measuring the different states against each other. It seems like there are opportunities to compare notes and sort of fuel each other's energy and innovation. Would you say that? Yeah.
Yeah, I would certainly agree. And one thing that when EPA started the process of developing a Clean Power Plan a couple of years ago, it has stimulated a lot of conversations among the states about what they've been doing, what has worked, what strategies have been successful. And I think all the states are learning from each other. States are situated differently. The power sector, the suite of sources in, Kentucky might be different than New York's, but the challenge can have much in common, and so the states learn from each other in these dialogues that take place.
So looking 5-10 years down the road with, the goals that have been already set in New York State, but then also with the targets in the Clean Power Plan, what do you think the mix of the energy portfolio will be for New York State when you look at, coal, natural gas, hydroelectric, renewables, nuclear. Where do you see that mix in a decade or so?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, the governor has set out certain targets. 50% renewable energy by 2030. And a large increase in energy efficiency. But exactly how, what the mix is, will to some extent be left to market forces. So, if certain renewable energy sources become relatively more cost competitive, then that might be where we see more investment. As I said, solar has been an area that's been expanding tremendously. So, we're not trying to pick winners. We're not trying to plan exactly where we go, but we're creating the sort of market framework that stimulates the market, animates the market to move in a direction of cleaner energy. One of the programs in place is the Public Service Commission's Renewing the Energy Vision program, which is intended to make the electricity system more efficient, produce more reliance on distributed renewable energy. That's things like rooftop solar, microgrids, and so all of these ways of producing energy and using energy will play a role in our mix in the future. But all of it is guided by that goal of a 40% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions across the whole energy system by 2030, and the goal of 50% renewables by 2030.
So obviously, New York is already on this road. Other states are a little hesitant. Either they might be opposing it. They say, the EPA is moving a little too quickly. Is now the time to move forward on this together as 50 states?
Yeah, it's important to address climate change, and that requires reductions across the country. So certainly it is time to do this, and but I think one thing that we have shown, and other states have shown, but we've shown through the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative, is that you can reduce emissions significantly while creating jobs, while building the economy, without impairing the reliability of the electricity system. And so the time is right. That experience is out there. California has done other things, and so we've shown what the path forward is, and that it's not really. I think we've shown that there isn't this tension between economic development and environmental progress, that they can be consistent as you build a clean energy system. So, I think it's the time. We need the action now, and we have shown that action can be taken in a way that is beneficial both environmentally and economically.